The fourth phase of computer investigation model is report the investigation. This phase discusses how to organize the information that you gather and the documentation that you create throughout the computer investigation, as well as how to write a final report. Use the two-step process as shown in the screen. The first step is gather and organize information. During the initial phases of a computer investigation, you create documentation about the specific activities in each phase. From within this document, you need to identify the specific information that is relevant to your investigation and organize it into appropriate categories. Use the following procedure to gather and organize the required documentation for the final report. Gather all documentation and notes from the access, acquire, and analyze phases. Include any appropriate background information. Identify parts of the documentation that are relevant to the investigation. Identify facts to support the conclusions you will make in the report. Create a list of all evidence to be submitted with the report. List any conclusions you wish to make in your report. Organize and classify the information you gather to ensure that a clear and concise report is the result. The next step is write the report. After you organize the information into appropriate categories, you can use it to write the final report. It is critical to the outcome of the investigation that the report is clear, concise, and written for the appropriate audience. The following list identifies recommended report sections and information that should be included in these sections. Purpose of report clearly explains the objective of the report, the target audience, and why the report was prepared. Author of report list all authors and co-authors of the report, including their positions, responsibilities during the investigation, and contact details. Incident summary introduce the incident and explain its impact. The summary should be written so that a non-technical person, such as a judge or jury, would be able to understand what occurred and how it occurred. Evidence provide descriptions of the evidence that was acquired during the investigation. When describing evidence, state how it was acquired, when, and who acquired it. Details provide a detailed description of what evidence was analyzed and the analysis method that was used. Explain the findings of the analysis. List the procedures that were followed during the investigation and any analysis technique that was used. Include proof of your findings, such as utility reports and log entries. Justify each conclusion that was drawn from the analysis. Label supporting documents, number each page, and refer to them by label number when they are discussed in the analysis. For example, firewall log from server supporting document D. Also, provide information about those individuals who conducted or were involved with the investigation. If applicable, provide a list of witnesses. Conclusions summarize the outcome of the investigation. The conclusion should be specific to the outcome of the investigation. Cite specific evidence to prove the conclusion. but do not provide excessive details about how the evidence was obtained. Include justification for your conclusion along with supporting evidence and documentation. The conclusion should be as clear and as unambiguous as possible. In many cases, it will be stated nearly the beginning of the report because it represents the actionable information. Supporting documents include any background information referred to throughout the report, such as network diagrams, documents that describe the computer investigation procedures used, and overviews of technologies that are involved in the investigation. It is important that supporting documents provide enough information for the report reader to understand the incident as completely as possible. If it is likely that the report will be presented to a varied audience, consider creating a glossary of terms used in the report. A glossary is especially valuable if the law enforcement agency is not knowledgeable about technical issues or when a judge or jury needs to review the documents.